So what does the super technical world of building artificial intelligence have to do with the really personal journey of self-improvement? I mean, on the surface, you'd think nothing, right? One's all about code and data, the other is about purpose and growth. But what if I told you that the blueprint for building a game-changing piece of tech is secretly the same blueprint we can use to build a better version of ourselves? Well, it turns out the parallels are pretty amazing, and they show us a shared path to creating something meaningful.
And this slide, right here, it really just lays it all out. On one side, you have this very structured, goal-oriented process for building AI. And on the other, you have the journey of personal growth, which feels so much more, well, personal. But what's so cool is that underneath it all, they follow the exact same fundamental blueprint.
So, here's the plan for our little journey together. We're going to start with that shared blueprint. Then we'll dive into why finding your why is so crucial for both. We'll look at the tools we need, the way we build things step by step, the importance of integrity, and we'll wrap up with the super important role of keeping a human in the loop.
All right, let's jump into part one, the shared blueprint. You know, every great creation, whether it's a person or a platform, starts with a design. It's not about getting lucky, it's about being intentional. So we're going to see how having a plan is the real first step, no matter what you're building.
Okay, so in the world of big-time enterprise AI, they have this fancy term, a well-architected design methodology. But all it really means is having a system, a plan, to make sure everything you build actually serves the main goal. It's about being deliberate from the get-go so that every single decision makes sense. Success isn't an accident, it's designed.
And then you see a quote like this, and it just clicks. This is the human side of that exact same coin. Look, transformation is going to happen to all of us. The real question isn't if we'll change, it's how. Are we going to approach that change with a plan, a design, and a clear purpose, just like an architect?
So, that brings us perfectly to our next section, finding your why. This is probably the most critical first step in any design, whether you're coding an app or coaching a person. Before you do anything else, you absolutely have to know why you're doing it.
You've probably heard this famous quote from Simon Sinek. It's so true, isn't it? The why is what gets us excited, what inspires us to act. It's the core belief that pulls us in, and it's the real source of motivation for everything.
We see this search for purpose play out perfectly in the story of Tegan. Her goal for coaching isn't just about, getting a promotion. Her main thing is finding my why. She just knows that connecting with that deeper meaning is the only way she's going to get more out of life.
And here's the perfect technical parallel. A developer, Scott Hanselman, isn't just messing around with AI for fun, he's got a crystal clear why. He wants to automate all the boring, time-sucking admin work for his podcast. Why? To get hours of his life back every week without sacrificing quality. So Tegan's why is about meaning, Scott's is about efficiency. But you see, they're both incredibly powerful drivers.
Okay, section 3, assembling your tools. So once you've got your why, you need the right tools to actually make it happen. In the world of AI, that means picking the right model. In our personal lives, it's all about choosing the right influences to shape who we become.
I mean, just look at this. An AI developer today has access to this incredible toolkit, like the Azure AI Model Catalog. They can pick and choose models from Meta, Cohere, Mistral, you name it. And each one has its own special skills. Some are great at chat, others are genius level at reasoning or writing code. The point is, you don't use a hammer for a screw, right? You've got to pick the right tool for the job. And believe it or not, we do the exact same thing in our own lives. You can think of it as your own personal model catalog. We pull together this collection of influencers, role models, and even anti-role models. The people who teach us what not to do. Our education, our family, our friends, these are the models we use to build our own character. We're always picking the right personal model for whatever life throws at us.
Next up, part 4, the iterative build. So you've got your why, you've got your tools, now it's time to actually start building. But here's the thing we all know. Progress, whether it's in tech or in life, is almost never a straight line. It's a loop, a constant cycle of creating, getting feedback, and making things better. In modern AI development, they call this the Gen AI Ops lifecycle. You start by just experimenting building a prototype. Then you deploy it, you put it out there, and, this is the most important part, you constantly monitor and evaluate how it's doing, so you're ready to circle right back to the beginning and make improvements. It's a nonstop cycle of build, test, refine, repeat.
And doesn't that technical loop just feel so much like the human experience of growth? Think about it. An engineer trying to debug a prototype is stepping into the unknown.
just like we are when we step outside our comfort zone. This quote really nails it. Bravery isn't about not feeling uncomfortable. It's about feeling it and doing it anyway. That's how we iterate on ourselves.
And get this, all that iteration, it has powerful, real-world results. For Scott Hanselman's podcast project, his first try at processing 1,000 episodes cost about $100. But after iterating, fine-tuning, and creating a smaller, more specific model for his task, that cost dropped to just $1.50. $100 down to $1.50. That is the power of refinement.
All right, Section 5, operating with integrity. So once you've built something and it's out in the world, whether it's an AI or, well, a person, the next layer is integrity. How do you build in the guardrails to make sure it operates safely, responsibly, and ethically?
On the AI side, engineers build in all kinds of guardrails. They use techniques like grounding to keep the AI from just making stuff up. They have content filters and run jailbreak detection to stop bad actors. These are the system's values. And for us, our guardrails are our personal integrity. We define our own values, we set boundaries, we practice making thoughtful decisions. It's the exact same principle, creating a system that you can trust.
And this whole commitment to responsible AI is really built on these pillars, like transparency, safety, and accountability. At the end of the day, the goal is to create systems that people can actually understand and trust, making sure that this technology serves us, not the other way around.
And that brings us to our final, and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. In a world that's getting more and more automated, what is the role of the human? Where do we fit in?
Scott Hanselman, the developer we've been talking about, just says it perfectly here. His goal was never to replace himself. It was to automate the boring stuff without taking himself out of the driver's seat. He wants technology to be his co-pilot, but he's still going to be the pilot. He wants, and I love this phrase, a human in the loop.
But here's a fascinating twist to think about. The coaching book we've been referencing looks into the future and points to research suggesting that AI coaches could one day become so good you wouldn't be able to tell them apart from a human. Which raises a huge question, right? As we build AI to help us, is that line between the tool and the user going to start to blur?
Ultimately, this systematic, intentional, value-driven process we use to build our most advanced tools, it's like a powerful mirror for our own growth. It forces us all to ask the same big question. As artificial intelligence continues to build the world around us, how will we choose to build ourselves?